Friends, I'm in shock. I monitored for about 10 to 15 minutes Russian resources. There's an uprising there. A real uprising is starting there. You won't believe what it's about. It's because of the ban on Telegram, because YouTube was shut down, and I think WhatsApp was stopped too, though I don't know why Russians need WhatsApp. So really everyone is outraged there, from some intellectual-looking guys with beards and glasses to completely wild national Bolsheviks. Well, I'm a war correspondent, that's obvious. Some military people, some paramilitary types, some quasi-volunteers. That's clear, they live and feed off Telegram. Without these channels, they're nobody and nobody cares about them. But it turns out that people are actually attached to the news and everything related to it. This turned out to be a very sensitive spot. So what's happening with them? Prices for groceries are rising, and the official inflation rate doesn't reflect the real picture at all. There are problems with jobs, and the country is in complete international isolation. There's a real crisis in the country, and it's only going to get worse. Everyone understands this, and yet they endure it, swallow it. But as soon as they blocked Telegram, it really reminds me, of that old Soviet joke where the Krasnoyarsk Regional Committee sends a telegram to Moscow. Well, actually they wire a telegram saying, "Urgently send us 2 train cars of vodka. The people have sobered up and are asking where the Tsar has gone." So in Russia, the people have sobered up and are asking, why are they banning Telegram? We want an independent internet, that's all. And you see, their Telegram isn't like ours. I mean, here anyone can write about Poroshenko or Zelensky. Anything at all about anyone. And apart from some arguments online, nothing else will come of it. Unless, of course, you actually post where the TCC is located, or where the coordinates of the armed forces of Ukraine are, or if you're actually working. I mean, specifically working against the Ukrainian army, clearly with facts, then you'll have problems. But in Russia, just for saying no to war, you get 7 years. So basically, their telegram was never really an island of freedom. So there's just a bit more information. It's a little different from Channel 1, from Solovyov, from Mordown and the other Skabivas. And yet they're outraged. Listen, this is very interesting. I don't think it was ever returned to them. I actually think it's the opposite in Russia. The logic, just like some of our own idiots, by the way, is to make sure there are no alternative sources of information. There are states, well, we also have a couple of oligarchs who have their own media outlets, which they bought up. And of course, it really annoys them that there's an alternative point of view, but ours will just have to put up with it. But in Russia, on the contrary, if the authorities see that this is important to people, they'll clamp down so hard it won't be funny. So their telegram is doomed, and any attempt to defend themselves is not equated with an attempt to overthrow the government. But this made me think about something else. Look, we're waiting for the fridge to beat the TV. We're hitting their targets. By the way, today you can check out a very interesting video of the strikes on my channel. And in Komi, at Lukoil, at MTZ, and in Volgograd, at a village with an unpronounceable name. I'm telling you, we had to hit that village just because of its name. I can't memorize it. And the Mishurinsk plant progress in the Tambov region, very important. All of this is on the Sazonov official Telegram channel and on Facebook, Kirill Pravdorub. Check it out, it's very interesting. There's also Belgorod and everything else. A lot of interesting things, a lot of important things. We're doing everything to make life harder, to trigger some internal processes. But they're progressing very slowly. They're getting poorer, they're suffering, they're complaining. But they endure, saying the war needs to end to be finished with peace. But before that, we have to take Odessa, Mykolaiv, and Kharkiv. And now there's a ban on the Messenger app. And that's when real unrest starts. This is something our intelligence analysts, the Foreign Intelligence Service and the GUR probably need to look into. Analyze it, look for pressure points. Maybe there are places where we really need to put in less effort and get more effect. We're working on it. So, friends, the Kremlin is once again disrupting all negotiations with Ukraine by putting forward new conditions. That is, in fact, have you seen the various trial conditions being floated over the past week or two? There have been a lot, both backup ones and all sorts of others. At one point, leaks to various media said that they would be satisfied with just the Donetsk region. Then Lavrov would pop up and say that all the territories Russia considers its own need to be returned. That is Odessa, Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, Zaporizhzhia. Then again, Lavrov would pop up and say that the people who said they wanted to be with Russia, at these so-called referendums they expressed their opinion, and now as if it was inevitable they are doomed to be with Russia forever. Basically, they were probing the position, testing what they could latch onto. Their desire to make a deal with Trump while pretending to be ready for negotiations is understandable. At the same time, they are absolutely unwilling to negotiate. And today Peskov popped up and announced a new ultimatum. He says Putin is ready to negotiate with Ukraine, but his position on the location of the talks remains unchanged. That is Moscow. Not the US, not Turkey, not some Arab country. Putin wants them to come to Moscow and bow before him. And this has even been stated openly. Obviously, we will not agree to this, but it was still voiced even after Zelensky said yesterday that there can be no talk of coming to Moscow. You go to the enemy's capital, the aggressor's capital, to sign a capitulation and beg for mercy. That's obvious. So no one is going to Moscow, and that's why Peskov is voicing this ultimatum now, because they don't want negotiations. Putin believes in his generals. He might even still believe that they've taken Kupiansk, the key point. Although that's not the case at all. He believes that they will be able to advance on the front. No doubt he's being told that the shelling is effective, that soon the Ukrainians will freeze. Last night there was a very large strike on Ukraine. 25 missiles, 16. We shot them down. And 219 drones, 197. We shot them down. Dnipro, Odessa, Kharkiv region, Kyiv. Photos, videos, I have all of that. On the Sasonov official Telegram channel and on Facebook as Kirilo Pravdorub. But Putin isn't being shown them, even though the videos and photos exist too. These are strikes on warehouses in the Volgograd region and on an oil facility with an unpronounceable name. I have it written down, but I could never repeat it in my life. But honestly, just for the name of that settlement alone, it was worth hitting it with missiles. Life. There were no artillery or missile depots there. And this is very important. A strike on the Michurinsk progress plant. Michurinsk, not because of apples, but because it's in the Michurinsky district of the Tambov region. So, greetings to the Tambov wolf. Putin probably isn't being told this, but Ukraine is also delivering some good strikes. And there are no other options, no other scenarios.